Hello and welcome everyone. I talk about self-pub quite a bit on the channel, so I thought today I'd show you my physical collection. So I've been around my shelves and I've pulled off all of the indie and self-published titles that I can find, which is why, if you're familiar with my videos, you can see the odd space here, for instance, where I would normally hold these books. So I've got 3 stacks of books on the floor around me, making it very difficult for me to move. There's no space whatsoever for me to even sit here, so I'm going to go through and get these out of my way as quickly as possible. I think there are 28 of them to show you. So the first one, like several of the other titles I'm going to show you, has a very glossy cover, so I will do my best with regard to the lighting, but I do apologise about the shine that you will see. But that first one is Obsidian Awakening by Sienna Frost, and this is a really gorgeous book. It's got lots of artwork inside it, which you can see on the sides. I'm not going to show you the sides for the page bleeds because it doesn't show up very well in the video, but just to show you a couple of examples from within the pages, if I can find a good one. It's like a proper project rather than just a novel that's been written. So you have the text and the artwork all marrying up together really well. There's a lot of design that's been put into this, a lot of work, a lot of time, and it just looks really gorgeous all throughout the book. The next one is one of the more recent gifts that I've received. It's an absolute chonker that is currently in SPF B08, and that is We Break Immortals by Thomas Howard Riley, and that is a really big doorstop of a book. I've not read this one, but I am looking forward to it. There's several people on my Discord server who are looking forward to read this, so it might be a buddy read coming up on my Discord server before too long. The book that I'm reading at the moment I actually received today, so that's really good timing for this video. It's another title that's in SPF B08, which is why I'm currently reading it, and that is The Blood of Outcasts by D.A. Smith. So this is a Japanese inspired story, as you can probably tell by the katana wielding warrior on the cover there. It's a really gorgeous cover, and I'm quite enjoying the actual story inside as well, but I'll give you more detail on that when I do a review after finishing the book. Next we have an unusual one for me because it's a book 2 in a series, and I haven't actually got a copy of book 1 yet, but it was so cheap for a hardback that it was almost rude for me to have left it on the shelves in the store, and that is She Dreams in Blood by Michael R. Fletcher. So I'm still to read the first book, Blackstone Heart, but I do have it on my Kindle ready to go when I get into this series. Several of my friends have read this series rather than necessarily just this book and really liked it, so I am definitely looking forward to get to this one. But for a hardback, this was around about £6, and that is an absolute steal for something of this high quality. I've shown you the book that I'm currently reading, and the next one that I'm going to be picking up when I've finished that one is my first Patreon buddy read, and that one is Burn Red Skies by Kirsten Espinosa Rosero. This I read the first chapter of for one of my SPF B07 videos when I looked at the first chapter of each of the finalists, and I quite enjoyed it, so I'm definitely looking forward to getting to this one. Another one of those gorgeous books that was just too well priced for me not to buy is Ringlander, The Path and the Way by Michael S. Jackson, and like some of the other hardbacks that you do get from the self-published market, it's got the beautiful naked hardcover on there as well. More than that though, this one has also got plenty of artwork inside, so once more it's a really pretty book to have on the shelf. And then talking of really pretty books to have on the shelf, we have M.L. Spencer's Dragon Mage. I will get to this one soon, I haven't yet, but it is a bit of a chonker as well. Again, we're in the 800 pages, but I am definitely going to be reading this in the next couple of months. And once more, the beautiful artwork that you've got on the naked boards makes this one an absolute stunner. The pile down to the side here did contain all of the hardbacks, so there's no surprise that the next is another of those. This is Cold from the North by D.W. Ross, and once again we've got a design on the boards underneath, a little bit different this time. We've just got the axe, which is from the cover rather than the full design, but that just looks really gorgeous to me. I really enjoyed this book, and I still need to get round to The Darkest Dusk, book 2 in the Onyxborn Chronicles, but I will be doing so soon. Then we have A Touch of Light by Thiago Abdella. This is another title that's fighting it out for a place in the semi-finals, first of all, of SPF B08. Again, I really enjoyed this one, but it is definitely kind of mellowed and matured in my estimation since I finished reading it. I really enjoy it more now than I did when I initially finished it, so I think I did a bit of a disservice to it in my initial review, which I put together shortly after finishing the book. But once again, the beautiful boards on there with the design from the cover just shows the quality of these self-published books. And then if you're talking about quality and beauty in a self-published book, perhaps one of the treasures of my collection in terms of how it looks, bearing in mind that I haven't actually read the story yet, is Spirits of Vengeance by Rob J. Hayes. First of all, the cover itself is really gorgeous and won at least one of the votes for the SPFBO8 cover competition. I think it was first in the judges' vote and second in the public vote, so did really well there. But again, we've got the design underneath, and once more, this is one which is a little bit different, so that just looks really, really nice on its own. But as well as the design on the boards, this is another one that's got plenty of artwork throughout the story, and the one thing that I really like about this is the chapter title pages, which are in negative. That's something that I've not seen in another book, and I really, really like it. I think it really makes this one stand out. Next up, I've got one of the shorter books here that's not actually a novella. This is The Empress of Beasts and Mist by Ginevra Mancinelli. This is a kind of a prequel story to her Hallow of Talons and Tears series, which I'm still to get to. Well, readers of that series say there's a lot of A Song of Ice and Fire vibes to this particular series, so I'm quite interested to see how that goes. The writing in here I did quite enjoy, so I definitely want to get to that series. In the two stacks to my right, some of these books do belong to the same series, so I'll show them all together. The first of those is The Fall, which is a prequel novella to The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill. I really enjoyed this one, and I am showing these in order, so in the comments below, no complaints please. But next up, we have Of Blood and Fire. And then the next one, I read a review copy of this back in November and loved it, but I've now replaced it with a finished copy, and that is Of Darkness and Light. So if you haven't read The Bound and the Broken, I definitely recommend it. These are really, really great books, and I'm having a great time with them. Another one I really enjoyed around the same time as I read those three Bound and the Broken books is Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson, and this is one that I'm really looking forward to the second book coming out. Hopefully this year. It is The Sin or The Sins of Aguel, I believe it is, or maybe it's Aguel's Sin. I don't know. It's really not important. What is important is this is quite a chunky but really, really enjoyable read. Loads of people have come along and said about the prologue to this story, how it just completely comes out of the blue and is really unexpected. And I've seen so many people say it's the best prologue they've read. So if you haven't read Illborn by Daniel T. Jackson, check it out and see for yourself. I'm going to be careful how I show you this one because the cover is a really gorgeous cover and it's really quite a busy one, so I don't really want my fingers getting in the way. But that is Army of the Cursed by Kareem Solomon. I love the colours on this one. It just looks really intense, the scene that's involved on this one. So I'm hoping to get to this one soon because I've had it for a little while now and I've not quite found the right time to read it as yet. But I'm expecting to enjoy it when I do. I believe there is a related series which takes place before the War of the Last Day, which is the series for Army of the Cursed. So maybe I should read that one first, I don't know. But either way, I'll really enjoy having this one on my shelf. Another one that I absolutely cannot wait to read more about, whether it's more from the author, and I do have another one on my Kindle to get me started on a new series, or of course more in this world, and that is another gorgeous book, The Iron Crown by L.L. McRae. This is another finalist from SPFBO7, which is just recently completed. And for me, when I read this one, knowing that it was a finalist at the time, I said this is good enough to win it all, and I still stand by that. So I absolutely cannot wait for book 2 in this series. It cannot come quickly enough for me. And then talking about SPFBO, one of the former winners is a booktube darling when it comes to self-published fantasy, and that is The Sword of Kygen. I really enjoyed this one. It's maybe not my normal style because it does have some kind of modern elements to it, although they are for the most part kind of in the background and you can almost forget they're there. There were some bits in this that I really didn't enjoy, but overall it was a very thoroughly enjoyable read. Back to a couple of series, and next up I have The Assassin of Melchizedek by Brian Asher, and I also have The Treasure of Lore Rev by the same author. These look very, very different, and you can see there that one is a fantasy and one is a sci-fi, but they are actually from a related series. So this is the Intercontinents series, and it's a series of connected kind of floating continents, I believe, for the main part. So we're kind of different worlds with very different cultures and levels of technology, but they are all interconnected, and maybe the stories will be as well, I don't know. But these are quite short books, so hopefully I'll be able to get to them soon and find out. I then have two which are just a little bit longer, so will take me a bit more time to find out more about them. But we have Moon Deeds by Palmer Pickering, and this is a science fantasy story, so you can see from the front cover it's definitely more of a modern day setting. And then I also have the sequel, which is Light Fighters. So these two are the first two books in the Star Children saga. I am looking forward to these, although they are quite big books. You know, that's just a bit more story to get my teeth into. I have another SPFBO 7 finalist, which is The Forever King by Ben Gelly. This is book one of the Skeleton Chronicles, is it? Yes. And this does have a connected story to the Emaneska series, which starts with the Written. So again, this is one where I'm not sure really whether I should start off by reading those books or just dive straight into this one. Once more, because it's an SPFBO 7 finalist, I have read the first chapter of this and rather enjoyed it, so at least I know that I should get on fine with the story and the writing style. Have another very shiny cover coming up, and this one really does sparkle as well because of the beautiful design and colours. This is The Seventh Cadence by Jim Illborn, and this was cruelly in my opinion cut already from SPFBO 8. This is one that's definitely got the quality, in my opinion, once more, to be a semi-finalist in the competition at the very least. So if you haven't read The Seventh Cadence, and look at that dragon, how could you not want to pick this one up? I definitely recommend it. Go out and pick it up, support your indie authors with any of these titles, but this one maybe just needs a little bit of extra love at the moment. I then have a rare for me sci-fi series, especially when it comes to the self-published market. This is a 4-book series. I've only got 3 of the books at the moment because my friend is currently reading the 4th book. He's read and enjoyed the first 3 so far. So first of all we have Kuiper Station, then we have Orion Citadel, and then finally Cherry Blossom. And this is the Kuiper series by Wilbur Seymour. So I'm quite looking forward to these. It's not my normal writing style, I know from having a flick through them, but the story is apparently quite a compelling one, and it's really quick and easy to get into. So I will get to these at some point. Amongst the titles that I've shown you today, this is one of the series. Book 1 is one of the books that's been on my shelf unread for the longest, so I really need to get to these. And again, they're not the biggest of books, so hopefully it won't take me too long to get through them when I do. And then finally we have a different type of dragon on display here. This is The Blood of the Spear by Mark Timoney. So again, this is a book that I've had for a little while, been meaning to read on a couple of different months in terms of the titles that are in my MBR, my might be read. I have included it and not quite got round to it as yet. Definitely want to get to it soon. I've heard some really good things about this one, and it's another one of those that, despite the glare that you're getting from the various light sources in here, is a really neat cover. I do like the idea of the 2 warriors on there, and well, there's a few more warriors that you maybe can't see, but the 2 warriors in the forefront there, and this giant kind of bone dragon that's attacking them there. It looks like a great story that I definitely will be getting to shortly. So there are plenty of these that I haven't read yet, much more than the titles that I have read, and I need to rectify that. So some of these books are in my list of self-published titles that I want to read this year. I did put up a video about that, looking at some of the maybe lesser reviewed titles. It was just titles that had fewer than 100 ratings at the time that I filmed that video. So I will definitely be getting to those ones. Hopefully I'll get to several of the others this year as well. Let me know in the comments down below then which of these self-published titles you've read, which you've enjoyed, which you're really looking forward to. And of course, if there are any other beautiful self-published books that I haven't got a physical copy of but you think would look great on my shelves, let me know and I'll take a look. That's everything from me today though. I hope you've enjoyed this look at my self-published primarily fantasy collection. I'll hopefully see you in another video soon, but until then, as always, take care of yourselves, read some good books and maybe make your next one an indie title. Bye for now.